welcome to another podcast. This is Get Your Head in the Game. I am Dr. Jenna Ross and the owner of Renew Performance, and I do mental performance training and sport and performance psychology for athletes as well as non-athletes. And today we have a special guest here, Malachi Marshall. He is a student athlete at NAU, Northern Arizona University, and on their track team in the event of the triple jump and the long jump. And so we're super excited to have you here and to share what it's like being in it and going through the motions and going through the transition from being a high school athlete to now being a college athlete. I think this is valuable information because it's all about mindset and mental health, and that is a key piece of your ability to be successful and do well, not just in competition, but also in life. So Malachi, thank you for being here.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So let's start with kind of what you've done so far. So you were state champion in the triple jump 2 years in a row, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, how was that experience? Just going in, if you can remember, like just being in that, and what your thoughts were, and the pressure that you may have felt. Like, talk me through that. What was that like?
Junior year, the first year at state, it was like kind of like it was like new because like track was new. I had done it my freshman year, and like I wasn't able to do it my sophomore year because of COVID. So junior year was my first year doing triple jump. So it was like a learning process throughout the whole thing. I started out at like 38 feet, like the
Oh,
first time I
wow.
ever did it in practice. And then like we just progressed the whole year. Every track meet my junior year, I think I improved, whether it was like by a couple inches or like I think my first real track meet, I went like 40 feet one. So that was like my first official jump. And then my whole junior year, I progressed all the way from 40 feet one to 45.5. But at state, my junior year, it was like, I don't know, I didn't know what to expect.
Okay.
I knew there would be like better competition, but I honestly surprised myself at state my junior year because going in, I was at 44.9 and I was ranked, I think, like fourth going in.
Okay.
And then my first jump, it was my first jump my junior year. I jumped 45.5 and like it didn't even feel like a good jump, but
Oh,
like they
wow.
said 45.5. And then so that was junior year. But senior year, I was like working to improve, but I just wasn't seeing any improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I like started out rocky the first couple meets, and then we got towards like later in the season, and I think I jumped like 45.1 at one of the meets. It
Okay.
was a Chandler Rotary, and that was like one of the bigger meets in Arizona. They like bring schools from out of state. So there's like when I got my confidence back. And
Okay.
then at state senior year in triple, it was exciting. It was like probably the best competition I've had so far because I was in the lead. I came out and I jumped 45.2, I think, or
Okay.
45.4.
Okay.
And then Quentin, he
Mm-hmm.
my junior year, he got second in triple. So I knew he would be there. And on his last jump, he jumped 45.6. So I had one more jump. I was the last jumper of the whole competition.
Oh, wow.
All the nerves. I like kind of when I saw him do that, I like kind of like got to myself. I like got on my knees. My mom
Mm-hmm.
always brings this up. I like got on my knees and I like prayed and like just for like to
Mm-hmm.
feel like confident. And
Mm-hmm.
I went and jumped, and then my last jump was 45.7, so that won it at state my senior year.
Holy cow. So like talk about like pressure, like
Yeah,
a lot of pressure.
definitely.
So with that experience, right, you were able to now compete at a D1 school because of your performances there, right?
Yeah.
So how does it feel to see like the place that you started at? You said it was learning. So junior year, you had never done it before.
It was all new.
And then you just kept at it, and you kept at it, and for the next 2 years, and that persistence, that consistency led you to now getting accepted to compete at a D1 school.
Mhm.
So talk to me about through that process, like you said, you just, you learned and you learned, but that last, your senior year, being at state and going through that, like what gave you the confidence in that moment?
In my last jump,
Mm-hmm.
I think just knowing, like, I, like, worked hard to get to that point, and, like, even if I didn't jump that, I think I would've still been satisfied because, like, I knew, like, I had done everything I could. So in that moment, it was just, like, confidence in knowing, like, I knew what to do, like, I knew, like, how to do it. It was just, like,
Mm-hmm.
being able to execute it and, like, trusting and believing myself that I could do it is
Mm-hmm.
what I think it came down to.
Yeah. Yeah. When you went, now you've transitioned and you're at NAU. How has that experience been for you going from being in high school to now the next level? What's that like?
It was kinda hard at first, just, like, their workouts were, like, more advanced and, like but I think what has, like, really helped me was, like, playing football in high school. Like, just the way our coaches, like, were hard on us, but, like, they made us, like, hardworking and, like, if we're gonna do something, like, to do it the right way and, like, just get through the workout, like,
Mm-hmm.
knowing, like I don't know, just, like, working hard. Like, y
Working hard. Okay.
there's a point in working hard. So I think that
Mhm.
has helped a lot, but it's definitely been different. We just
Yeah.
got done with, our first cycle, so that was, like, the
Okay.
learning stages, the basics, and then now we're in cycle 2. This past week was the first week, so now we're, like, adding speed to the technique that we learned, and so
Okay.
it's been exciting. Uh,
Yeah.
Definitely, it's been exciting.
That's definitely exciting. What if you look back on your career so far, what has inspired you and kept you going?
Um, I think at the end of the day, it would probably my family. Like, I wanna,
Okay.
like, be able to do this for them. Like, just knowing that, like, they worked hard for me, so, like, I wanna, like, be able to repay them. So, like, every time
Mm-hmm.
anything gets hard, I just, like, think of them and, like, know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it for a reason.
Yeah. Would you say that's, they talk about a lot of times, motivational speakers and in sports, they even talk about like having a why, like knowing what your why is.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's what your why is?
Yeah, definitely, I think that would be my why.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds, I mean, like having them, do they support you a lot in what you do?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
my mom, I think, is my biggest supporter. She
Hmm.
was at all my track meets in high school, and then now she's, like, probably my biggest why. Like, I wanna be able to, like I don't want her to have to work, like, I wanna make
Hmm.
like, a career out of this and, like, be able to do everything that she did for me, I wanna do for her.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Having that motivation to keep you going when it's tough, for sure, is a key component, I think, to being successful as an athlete, is
Yeah,
having that deeply kind of rooted in you to keep going. But I love that you said hard work. So hard work is a definite thing that you need to be able to do and to have and to push through those tough moments. Um, Confidence wise, do you feel like your confidence is still there now that you're in a bigger, like you went from being kind of like a big fish in a small pond to now probably everyone's at that level. So
yeah.
do you feel like that changed at all when you transitioned to going to NAU?
Um, I wouldn't say I, like, am less confident because I, like,
Okay.
still think that I can, like, compete at the highest level, but I think, it's more of like a, not being confident, but, like, being able to, like, accept that people are better than me right now and just, like, being
Mhm.
able to learn from them, I think has been
Mm.
really big
Mhm.
because there's, like, 3 guys on the team right now that are really good at triple, so just, like, being able to practice with them and, like, they teach me, they, like, show me
Mhm.
how to do stuff, so it's just good to have them there and
Mhm.
helping my confidence grow, definitely.
Yeah. So more of their pushing you to be better rather
Yeah,
than kind of a threat to your performance. It's somebody
yeah,
that's there that's going to push you to
yeah.
always try your hardest. Awesome. That's so cool. So, I want to hear kind of what are your goals now? Like, where do you see this going? Are you planning on staying all 4 years at NAU? Do you see it going to the next level? Because I mean, you are very talented. So I think that, you have the mindset to be successful, which is so much, that's like 90% of it, right? And then the skills
Hmm.
and the abilities is the other part. So where do you see this going?
Um, my freshman year right now is to make regionals. So
Okay.
that's like the top 48 jumpers in the West. So I think that would be like, like a good building block going into my other years. But definitely freshman year, just like seeing improvement, like a drastic improvement. I
Mm-hmm.
want to like be able to know that like what I'm doing right now is like paying off. But in the future, my sophomore, junior, senior year, hopefully I'm competing at the national level. And
Okay.
then if I do get the opportunity to go pro, I think that's what I'd want to do.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, competing
Yeah.
at the next level.
So for you, is it kind of just whatever my next level is, that's what I'm going to get to,
Hmm.
rather than
Yeah,
like this big like scope of where I need to go? It's just make it to the next level. Then when I
yeah,
get to the next
just
level.
yeah, just like doing things that like so freshman year, make regionals, and then sophomore year build on that, and then junior year
Mm-hmm.
build on that, and then wherever
Mm-hmm.
it takes me, I think is what
Yeah.
my goal is.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like where you're at, like where you started junior year and having that mindset of, I'm just going to learn this, I'm going to learn it. And now where you're at, I'm going to learn it. Like that openness and willingness to learn where you are in the process and how you can be better. I think is going to take you really, really far. So, yeah, what would you say? Because this is super interesting, because the last two people that were on the episode they've been through it, they retired, and they have a lot of wisdom to give. But you're in it right now. You are in the process of it all, and your um, scope as an athlete right now is collegiate level, but that's what this podcast is to speak to, is high school and collegiate level athletes. What advice would you give to those other athletes, competitors, about being successful? What would you say to those athletes?
Um, I would just say to like never give up on yourself, because like there's gonna be times where like like my senior year, I like came out and I did like poorly the first couple meets, but like just knowing like who you are as like an
Mm-hmm.
athlete or a person, like just like knowing that if you can trust in yourself and like God,
Mm-hmm.
I think is big. Like just trusting in yourself and like
Mm-hmm.
believing, basically,
Yeah.
never giving up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So, saying that to the younger athletes that want to be where you are, a lot of them may have dreams and aspirations to be at a D1 level school someday. Given that you've walked that journey and you've gotten there, is there anything that you may have done differently?
My junior year, during track season, I was getting up every morning at 4, and I would be at the gym by 4:30, and I'd be there from 4:30 to 6, and I'd get home at 6, and I'd be ready for school at 7:20. So I think doing that for 3 months, like leading up to state my junior year, I think that was like really big, and like just
Mm-hmm.
like putting me like, I wouldn't say like one step ahead, but like just knowing that I'm like doing what needs to get done so
Yeah.
I can do what I want to do
Okay.
was big.
Yeah. So taking the steps to get there. And when you were doing that, how did you stay disciplined to do all of that?
I think just knowing what I wanted, really, like just
Okay.
knowing that I had a goal and like I was like willing to do anything it took to like reach my goal.
Yeah. Okay. So goals are super important then, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's so awesome. I'm so excited that you were on this episode. Um I think the key thing for you has been your confidence and believing in yourself, as you've shared. Is there any last words that you'd want to say, or anything else that you'd want to share?
Uh, I don't think so.
Anything to inspire these young athletes that are, at Sunrise Mountain, looking at Malachi Marshall's at NAU? Like, what would you say to those athletes?
Just keep working, keep
Okay.
believing, and yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you again for being on. I look forward to what you're going to do in the future. I think great things are ahead for you. And we'll just maybe have you on in another year and you can tell us all about how you made regionals. So we're excited for you.
Excited.
All right. Thank you.